video games. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, I know!
Are you gonna do something about it?
Oh yeah! I'm gonna play Burning Rangers on the Sega Saturn. Game on!
One day, Bill was sorting through some of his old games and came across his old memory card. But something went wrong. It glitched, and every enemy he had ever defeated in video games was released into the real world. Now he has to replay all his games and defeat the hordes of evil villains, sealing them back into the digital world which they came. Game on! The Sega Saturn was a console that produced a plethora of games filled with fantastical adventures and unique experiences. Unfortunately, some of those games are still locked to the console, never receiving a port or update to any other platform. One of the absolute best titles still locked to the Sega Saturn for me is Burning Rangers. From the creators of Sonic the Hedgehog and Nights into Dreams, this 3D adventure platform game is filled with explosions, exploration, and interesting ideas that keep it a game I return to again and again. Becoming a member of a group of futuristic firefighters with jetpacks and laser water cannons, you look to rescue survivors from raging fires around the world, rocking out to funky music and anime-dominated visuals. Sonic Team was at their best at this time. But all of this is just the surface of what makes Burning Rangers a great game. As I deep dive into the fire, let's take a look at the first level and where your adventure begins. The game drops you right into your first mission as your training is interrupted by a call to action. A fire has broken out in a laboratory and all rangers rush to the scene to help staff trapped inside and control the spread of the fire. And you pretty much learn to play the game on the fly. The first thing Burning Rangers is quick to highlight is the importance of its characters. When you play through the tutorial, it makes a point of introducing you to the cast as much as it does the controls. There is Sho, the charismatic 90s cool dude with a strong sense of justice, trying to live up to the memory of the fireman who saved him as a boy. Tillis, who has lost her parents in a fire and was bounced around several government facilities as an orphan, which of course meant, for whatever reason, she was experimented on to create a super athlete. Regardless, her abilities make her a perfect pick for the Burning Rangers. Reed Phoenix is a cool, calm and collected member of the group. He has a strong sense of importance of life and is known to make the right calls under pressure. He has taken Sho under his wing to keep his ego in check and break the rookie in the right way. Big Landman is the most experienced member of the team. He is a heavy decorated fireman who has saved hundreds of lives. Early in his career he was badly injured and much of his body is reconstructed with implants to keep him alive. He is very much the tough guy of the group. And finally Chris, the leader and navigator of the team, sending intel directly to the Rangers to complete the mission as quickly and safely as possible. You have direct communication to Chris, where you can ask her for directions should you get lost, and she will give you guidance to switches and navigation throughout the area. But the voiceovers and the team are more than just a Google Map experience. As you play missions, the team will speak over voice channels to tell you what else is happening in the area that you cannot see. This is great storytelling and really makes you feel a part of the team and the action. Where other games often lock you into cutscenes to get the story point across, Burning Rangers more often than not keeps the action moving, with the team checking in and building atmosphere as you play. Very much like the Star Fox games, but unlike Star Fox, many of Burning Rangers' voice samples are not the same each time. It can take several playthroughs to hear all the possible dialogues between characters, as many are random, keeping replays fresh and with new plot and character progression you haven't heard before each time. This is further expanded depending on if you choose Tillis or Sho, as they too react differently to the teammates at times. This makes the team feel very much alive and brings you closer to their family-like relationship. As they risk their lives, you feel part of their world. And all of these slight differences to the game each time is vitally important to its replayability, as I explain in its level design later on. Not being stuck reading walls of text or long cutscenes you can't skip really keep up the pace of Burning Ranges, and the fact it does its best to deliver its plot and characters development in levels as you play through voice clips and trigger events as you explore and find new locations means repeating playthroughs are not a chore. And when you are fighting raging fires and avoiding explosions, you feel a part of the experience, hearing what else your team is doing in other areas of the disaster, fighting right alongside you the whole time. It's really great. As the Rangers travel through the many floors of the lab, they come across workers who speak of an experiment that's gone terribly wrong. A giant plant has grown out of control and started the fire. Not just being firemen, the Rangers face the monster plant head on and destroy it, preventing further damage. I think that's put out the fire now. Let's check on the situation outside and make sure everything's okay.
Now, either me playing Burning Ranges isn't stopping the fire, or I just need to play another level.
I admit, playing Burning Ranges hasn't, at this moment in time, made the situation better. But it's still early days and there's still much of this great game to play. So I say we carry on. Everyone outside seems to be okay for the moment. I can see the fires spreading. But I'm guaranteed if we do another level, things will get better. What do you mean, what have I done? I didn't start the fire. Blame the scientist, Cheney, in the previous level. I didn't start no fire. I'm saving everybody. I'm playing the game with the intergalactic firemen. What would you do in this situation? The second level sees the Rangers travelling to an underwater theme park and laboratory, proving many theories of the Sega Saturn's supposed inability to do transparencies very wrong here. The Rangers at first are led to believe that only the workers are inside, as the park was closed that day. But urgency quickly sweeps the team as they find out that a special school trip was booked last minute and over 200 people are trapped within the underwater facility. Big and Reed attempt to save as many as they can, but with the fire spreading, they are running out of time and desperation sets in. Burning Ranges only has 4 stages, one of which really is to close out the story of a boss fight. One of the biggest complaints I hear about the game is how short it is, but to those people I say, you kinda missed the point. You see, the main 3 levels of the game have a random level generator. It still has adjoining rooms that always appear, but the corridors that link it all together and many locked doors are swapped around mean you can't just rely on how you traverse the level the first time. Sometimes the arrangements can be slight and you may not notice the difference. Other times, routes can be completely blocked off and send you on a large diversion, throwing off even myself who has played this game hundreds of times. Everything about the level design is very purposeful. Large outdoor 3D environments at the time generally came with their fair share of problems with things like draw distance. This is why you often saw graphics pop into view or fog in a lot of these games to try and disguise the limitations of the hardware. And of course there was always those loading times. Instead, Burning Ranges uses cramped corridors and boxed rooms, labyrinthian in design with doors to hide a lot of the loading and level generating off screen. It means there was a lot more detail on the walls and in the rooms. There was always something going on. This square room with interlocked corridor designs also got around, for the most part, Sega Saturn's lack of camera controls on the control pad. Where this was a fundamental part of everyone's game design, be it fixed cameras like Resident Evil, meaning you had to adapt to tank controls, or free camera type games like Mario 64, where moving the camera was as much as a skill to try and develop as Mario's movements and mastering his own jump. Burning Ranges simply keeps things to the shoulder buttons. Each press rotates the camera 90 degrees. Because most of the areas you navigate are box rooms and corridors with 90-degree turns, It eliminates the fact of having to have a free controlling camera. This works really well. Each ranger plays the same, with a double jump, several boost abilities, edge hanging and a water laser to put out the fire, that can be charged to put out stronger fires or destroy hostile machines and enemies. Having the rangers with a jetpack double jump means the vertical controls are often taken care of with a single jump, with the camera locking behind the player as you leave your feet. After a few games you find you can predict the response of the camera, you can navigate the space in a room really well, and you are dodging away from explosions and sweeping down to rescue survivors with ease. So the level is designed with the camera in mind instead of trying to figure out how the camera is going to navigate the level. I feel all of this was a very smart design choice. It really translates Sonic's team's game design philosophy into a 3D world. It rewards you with speed and momentum the more skilled and better you get at the game. Just like the first time you played a Sonic level, you are losing rings left, right and centre, bumping into enemies and falling off pitfalls, only to gain the knowledge of the controls and the level design, and then the next time you play you blast through the stage at unstoppable pace and speed. Sonic 2 knew what the Sega Saturn did well and doubled down on it, hiding away its weaknesses and emphasising its strengths. Adding the random level generator keeps surprises coming and has a new puzzle to solve each time you play. With time running out, Tillotson Show suggests separating the facility connecting joint from the sea floor. This would make the upper part of the building float to the surface of the water, carrying all the survivors up to safety all at once and away from the fire. After defeating a monster guarding the lower floors, they destroy the connecting joint, managing to rescue everyone inside. Right, so we have stopped the fire-breathing plant of the scientists. We have... and that didn't stop the fire. I'm pretty sure now we've dealt with the fire-starting fish. The outside is going to be much better.
So let's check on the situation. Yeah, definitely an improvement. Let's finish this game.
Right, I am now convinced this is a good plan. This is working. You know, things are getting better. So I think we should finish the game. Let's do it. What? What do you mean no? What do you mean it's not an improvement? I don't understand what the problem is. I just looked outside, things were fine. Maybe the water's on fire, that's a bit strange, but no, things are fine. Some people just want to watch the world burn. That's you, Bill. I'm trying to save everybody, Kizra. Why don't you understand? The world is on fire. I don't see how that's my fault. I really don't. There's clearly a connection, right, between my trophy room being on fire, between the fire-breathing plants, between my street being on fire, between the fire-starting fish, and the world being on fire. There has to be a connection. I think none of these people are playing video games. That's the connection. I've worked it out. That's what it is. The Rangers are called to space to track a signal that was sent to a colony from an old transmitter. When they get there, they find disaster has struck and fire is tearing apart the space center. After some choice words with one of the demolition crew...
Do I need to remove you by force?
No.
They rescue the survivors and have to face off against the defense system robot. But this is just the start of the trouble. The final aspect of Burning Rangers which elevate this game for me is the scoring system and the fan mail. Scattered throughout each of the 3 main levels are trapped survivors that can be teleported to the Burning Rangers ship to safety with 5 crystals you can collect from putting out fire. When you save a person, you are often treated to a soundbite of terrible dialogue that can be funny, weird, worrying, awkward, and everything in between. On the completion of a level, the people you save send you mail to say thank you. These small letters can further expand the lore, add extra story elements, be plain weird, or sometimes open bonus sections of the game. I love this idea, and once again it separates the extension of the game's story and world away from the core experience. You don't need to pause your fun of the game to read a novel's worth of texts and writing to expand the lore, which sometimes could be utterly pointless, mid-level breaking up the pace. Instead, the game grants you with your fan mail the next time you return to the title screen. It's like getting in from a long day to find someone has sent you something to say thank you for playing the game. The developers have also randomly placed themselves inside some of the level layouts, and should you save them, they will let you know what part of the game they worked on and give you passwords to unlock things like sound tests, concept artwork, a minigame, and even the ability to play as the rest of the Burning Rangers. You can even find Clarice and Elliot from Nights into Dreams. There are hundreds of these letters to unlock, and access the game's main collectible, with a lot of the survivors needing to be saved several times to unlock all of their mail. It's a fun little gimmick that rewards you for repeat play, and you never really know what the next letter will say, which is a little better than the tick in a box like many of the 3D platform games. But by far my absolute favourite aspect of the game is the scoring system itself, taking Nights into Dreams' ranking system and turning it up to the next level. You are scored on 4 areas of each level of Burning Rangers. These are the building's damage level, collecting crystals, how many survivors you've rescued, and how quickly you defeated the boss. Being a firefighter, combating the spread of the fire comes with the job. As you play a stage, a meter drops steadily as the building takes damage from the fire. As you put out the fires, this meter reduces. You also get constant explosions and fiery death hunting you should you let it drop to 0. Second is the crystals. When putting out fire with the water laser, each flame distinguished turns the flames into crystals. These crystals act like rings from Sonic, protecting the Rangers from damage so long as you have at least 1 crystal on you. But they also act as energy to transport victims to safety as well as contribute to your final grade. The more crystals you have, the better the grade you get at the end of the stage. Moving on to the survivors themselves, you need to search high and low of every level to see where the trapped victims are randomly placed, much like the random level switches and doors that change. Finding them all will score you an S rank here, as well as the cool fan mail bonus I spoke about earlier. And lastly, the boss defeat time. Probably the easiest of the challenges to defeat the boss in the fastest time you can. After the first couple of goes, this is pretty straightforward to get. Now what I love about this scoring system, once again, it changes the way you play the level. You can race through the stage, dealing with all the fire where you can to keep the building damage down, or slow the pace to search every corner of every level for the survivors, taking it slower still to collect every crystal you can come across and trying to avoid any damage. And what is incredibly fun about all of this is you don't need to try and tackle all of these requirements at once, as the game saves your best scores from each category separately, so you can focus on one aspect each time you play a level, or several of these aspects should you so choose. Alongside that, some of the challenges lend well to tackle together. For example, when you rescue a survivor, if you have more than 5 crystals, up to 10 crystals are banked for you and contribute to your final crystal score. So you don't have to go through the whole stage without taking a single hit, you can still rely on what crystals you've banked when you've been saving survivors. So it makes sense to try and save as many survivors as you can and collect all the crystals at the same time because they go hand in hand. Whereas trying to find fire to keep the damage level of the building low when you're off the beaten path on your search for survivors and crystals can be more difficult. So you might want to tackle the faster time requirement separately. There is even a password system to lock the random generated levels into one design, given to you at the end of each stage, so you don't need to worry about the RNG getting in the way either. All of this is just genius. I think back at the many games I've played over the years, and few games have ever been clever enough, inventive enough, or fun enough to make me want to play the same 3 levels over and over again. It is a testament to the design team that they took what little they had to use and found so many ways to give the player a wealth of enjoyment, squeezing every inch out of what they could, making every aspect of the game complement the other to make 3 levels feel like 30. It turns out the Space Center is host to a young girl that was sealed away by her father. She had an incurable disease and was sealed away to circle the Earth in a ship until a cure was found. Now the cure was created, the ship is carrying out its last command: return to Earth. The only problem is, the computer's AI, in its act to follow its main directive to protect the girl, surrounded itself with as much space junk as possible to act as a shield. Now it's much, much bigger than it was originally designed, and if it returned to Earth in its current state, it would destroy the planet like an asteroid collided with it.
Can you hear me?
Getting a bit warm around here, Bill. Better hurry up.
There's no
Burning
response.
Rangers gets
What's the
an
point
S
of
tier
waiting?
on the
Let's go
OST
investigate.
tier list. Absolutely great soundtrack. Love it.
Reed and Tillis, I want you two to enter
This says
from
save
main
yourself,
tunnel. Big and
run
Cheryl,
away.
enter from the starboard port.
Guys,
Roger.
there is. Okay, let's have a conversation, right? Everything is fine. There is nothing wrong, right? I've got everything under control. I know exactly what's going on. It's. Do you know what? It's even a bit cold in here, so I'm just going to put on a jacket. And I think now, what? The stream's on. No, the stream isn't on fire, Kizra. Everything's fine. It's a bit cold. It's a bit cold. I think we've got a solid strategy here. It's working out well. I've even had people call me up and say, "Bill, you're doing a great job. Maybe you should be a full-time firefighter." I may consider it. I may consider it. Right. I say we finish this off once and for all. We save the world. We stop the fires. We save the kids, the children, the adults. Everybody is now going to be saved because of me. Let's get it done.
After a sweet little minigame where you drive the Burning Rangers ship through fire in the space station to get to the centre of the ship and where the girl is held, the Rangers teleport the girl to safety and destroy the out-of-control AI to stop the space station colliding with Earth. All in a day's work, I say. The credits of the game act as a fun closure to the characters, showing events that happen after the final mission with Iria, the girl trapped on the space station cured, and better yet, her becoming a new member of the Burning Rangers. And yes, she is one of the characters you can unlock to play as through the fan mail. You can finish this game in under a few hours, but with so much to unlock with repeat playthroughs, it really is a game that gets better the more skillful you become. Nowadays games are filled with time trials and collection challenges, but they always felt tacked on to me and often pushed the game past its design into frustration. They were just busy work. Burning Rangers never gave me that feeling. It was designed this way, with all of its moving parts working together. Restrictions on the developers made them get inventive, and every asset was used to make the game feel whole, not just piling on content because you had space on the disc. The game doesn't punish you if you miss that fastest time S rank, for example, as you can keep playing to the end of the level to get an S rank in, say, crystals or collect more fan mail. It's easy to play and hard to master, and everything Sonic Team is great at. Sonic Team wanted to create a game where the goal was more about saving people than killing everyone all the time. Not only that, there is no other kind of game where you play as an intergalactic firefighter. Putting out fires in games are often reserved to real life simulators these days. But this game proves, with a little imagination, anything in real life can be given a fantastical twist, and that is exactly why I love this media so much. There are many who want nothing else but realism from their games, and that's fine, just to marvel at just how true to life games can be. But for me, getting away from the real world is what video games is all about. Doing things that are impossible in real life is the ultimate freedom. Keep your real world physics, your lifelike looking main characters and ray tracing. Give me an anime fireman with jetpacks in a sci-fi world any day of the week. If you enjoyed collecting all the emeralds in Sonic, getting A ranks in Knights, or collecting all the stars in Mario 64, Burning Rangers has all of this in its own style and is only on the Sega Saturn.
Well done, everybody! Tony, working hard as usual. Thank you for everyone's contributions to tidying up the mess. Took a little longer than I thought to save the planet, but we got there in the end. If you have any fan mail to send me, then please send it to Pop Culture Pause Screen on YouTube.
Bill, if this thing is so dangerous, why don't we just destroy it?
Are you nuts? Do you have any idea how much evil that would do? It's got my game save files on this thing. Sega have some amazing properties, but often they do not revisit them, leaving some of their very best ideas unexplored and on the shelf. Burning Rangers is very much one of those games. It's filled with replayability, great ideas, and a lot of heart. I just hope one day in the future I see a great big 2 right next to that logo. This game is one of my absolute favourites of all time, keeping the Sega Saturn alive and relevant for me right up until today. It's just a shame that the only way to play it is on the Sega Saturn, and it was never ported to anything else to let more people play it. I hope I've sparked your interest to try Burning Rangers any way you can. Oh, this one's for you. Better read it, you don't want to keep your fans waiting. Burning Rangers, a brand new skies we die. Is the camera still on? One sec, please.
Action.
Contribution, everybody! Hey, I can see what you're doing there, working hard. Glad everyone's.
Oh, that was gonna be beautiful. Really, when you are.
Now, even. Sorry. Just check the shot.
No longer an actress and demoted to character. Yes, you're in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burning Rangers is very much one of those games, packed filled with.
I didn't realise it was filled with.
It's everywhere. Everywhere. Exclusively to still have them. There's very few ways you can play it.
Sorry. Just try and move the shoulders and the head. Try not to.
That's the whole point of the whole thing.
I know, but you're sinking a lot. You're doing a lot of. Leave the hips alone. The hips are not in this. We're not Strictly Come Dancing.
I'm just really sad that no one else. Anyone can play it. Just have to say sad. It's not like you're the only person. Fucking world has got one.
So bad. Because you've got the short bit stuck up.
Shut up. What's it? Straight. Some of us are doing more than others, but it's alright, we're all doing.
Damn it, Dodge!
I hope I've sparked your interest to try this game. No, stop saying this game, say Burning Rangers. Vince McMahon doesn't like adjectives.
Who? What? Oh my gosh, you have a complex.
I hope I've sparked your interest to try Burning Rangers today, yesterday, tomorrow, next year. Maybe you would try it. How about that?
Badang! Mic drop.
Bazinga! I hope you. You don't want to keep your fans ready. Wait. So close. What am I trying to say? Just say it, Bill.
You're trying to say you like the game, but
Like the game.
you're sad that other people can't play it
Yeah.
because it's locked exclusively to the Sega Saturn.
Yes. That's right. That's what I want to say.
There you go. Just fucking do it.